Hi, I'm Bob, and you are watching The Cheap Audio Man. Is that right?
Obviously, that was not me in the intro. That was my good friend Bob Fonseca. He's got an awesome channel. It's called the United States of Analog. Please click on it right here and subscribe. In 2024, we're going to do things a little bit differently on the Cheap Audio Man. More content and different hosts. I will always be here making videos about audio, but I'm also going to free up some time to work on some other projects. We're going to have awesome people that I love and I respect their opinions. And let's face it, they're all a lot smarter than I am, more prepared, have better videos, and most of you are probably getting sick of me anyway. So keep watching, check out Bob's take on these little SMSL products. Don't forget to subscribe to his channel, The United States of Analog, and enjoy.
All right, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to start with an unboxing today because SMSL just sent me their new power amp, and it must be a beast. Well, that's not a power amp. That's the SMSL D6s DAC. I guess we'll take a look at that too, but there's got to be a power amp in here. Oh my. That's a power amp? The DA1. That's a power amp. Hi, I'm Bob, and you are in the United States of Analog
and the Cheap Audio Man.
And if you're new here, welcome. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bells, do all that so you can get notified, because we like to have fun with hi-fi. We don't take it too seriously. And once again, we find ourselves in the fun-fi category. What is fun-fi? Well, it's a name I've given to components that are smaller in stature, that cost a little less, and come from a land far, far away. I don't know exactly which direction that is, but today we've got the DA1 amp. This is what I requested, this palm size Mighty Mite. You know, they say a lot of products are palm sized and they're really not. This one is palm sized. And we have the D6s DAC. Very handsome, very handsome. We're going to put these together because they sent them together. I don't think that was SMSL's intention, but I think we can make a system out of these two components. Then we're going to look at them in three categories. We're going to do a little overview, talk about performance, and then what I like to call lifestyle fit. We're going to see if either or both of these products fit into your life, into your home, into your office in some way. So that's what we're going to do. But first, let's do the tail of the tape. In the blue corner, we have the DA1 power amplifier at $49. 65 watts per channel into 4. Into 8, it's anyone's guess. I'm just going to say 25 to 30 at $49. I'm not going to be too concerned. It's got a TI 3118 amp chip from the good old US of A. It weighs in at 1/2 pound. It's 4 inches by 4 inches by like 1.25 inches tall. It's got a 19 volt separate power supply. In the red corner, we have the D6s MQA DAC from SMSL at $199. It's MQA ready, streaming and CD. It's got the Sabre ES9039Q2M released earlier this year. It's got 4, as they call them, high-end op amps, and I have no reason to doubt them. Why would they lie? It's got 5.1 Bluetooth and a single antenna. It's a very smart-looking unit, as I mentioned. It's got balanced inputs and a full array of digital inputs. So that's the overview. Like I said, I wanted to put a little system together with these two units because they're in-house at the same time. So I took them upstairs. I used my normal size component, my Technics amplifier as a platform, and then I connected these units to all kinds of different speakers that I have upstairs. My beloved Klipsch Fortes. I also have Klipsch 600Ms, the first generation. The KEF LS50 Metas, they're down here now. And also the Sony SSCS5. So this DA1 did a reasonably good job driving all of those. I had the best success with the Klipsch Fortes. That was more of a pleasure to listen to. But I think my experiment went pretty well. I don't know how something this small works. I really don't, but it does. It drove all of those speakers with some degree of satisfaction. I will say, as you got like super loud, like ear-piercing 90 decibel loud, the sound does start to thin out and get a little bit irritating, but I don't suspect you're going to use this in that manner. I think you're going to be listening at comfortable levels, and I think you're going to do all right. Again, you're kind of saddled with this big power supply here. That's what keeps the size small. Speaking of size, there's a well-accepted idea in audio that a short signal path in an amplifier is a good thing. That's less to go wrong. There's less signal to be lost. If that is true, and I believe it to be true, I don't know how you get a shorter signal path than an amplifier that's 4 inches by 4 inches. And that actually includes the length of the terminals here. I guess there are some real advantages to having an amplifier this small. But I don't think it's something that's going to be for everyone's taste or everyday use, but we'll talk about that. So if $49 is all you have to spend, this is a good deal, because this is what $49 got you back in the day, a couple decades ago, a Class T amp made out of plastic. There were brands like Sonic Impact, LaPie, and other brands that you could get on places like Parts Express, and that was kind of the small amplifier market a decade or two ago. Other than that, the knob feel is okay. You've got this on-off button here, and there is pop reduction circuitry in here that supposedly keeps this thing from clicking and popping in your speakers when you turn it on and off. And I think that works pretty well from my experience. So let's get to the star of the show, the SMSL D6s MQA Ready DAC, Bluetooth DAC. And I love MQA. If you watch this channel, I love MQA because I'm a title user. And when this little purple light comes on, you can see it in the B-roll here. When that comes on, I get a little warm feeling inside because I know I'm getting some value added. Why not have a little MQA in your life if you can get it? So streaming, CD, I've never met anybody that has an MQA CD, but if you do, welcome to the United States of Analog. I'm glad you're here. Let's see, that chip, that 9039Q2M chip is on the newer side. It's implemented very well here, as opposed to the warm-sounding Weem amp I just reviewed, which I like very much, by the way. This has a different sound signature. It's a lot more transparent, a lot cleaner, a lot brighter than the Weem. It's just, again, a matter of what kind of flavor and sound you're looking for. I looked it up. SMSL has over 29 DACs on their website. I don't know how you choose one. And I'll never hear most of those, and if I could, it would be impossible to compare them. But that is, again, the beauty of FunFi products is they don't cost a lot. You're not taking a huge risk. This is $199, and it's a very good DAC for that price. It is fully balanced. I did not make balanced connections. A lot of times, personally, I don't hear a difference between just the standard single end RCA or whatever and balanced. A lot of great connectivity here, optical, coax, USB, digital connects. In USB, you get DSD, a DOP, and there's just a lot going on in here. And I have to laugh a little bit because while this doesn't have tone controls, and you're not going to get any subwoofer out, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue down the road for some people, it's got these digital filters that you can manipulate. DP, digital phase. You've got PCM filters, that's FL in the menu. Just dozens of combinations. I think you have 6 levels of each filter. Again, when we start talking about digital clocks and jitter and all that stuff, I get a little loopy. I don't have an engineer kind of brain. I have a creative brain. I don't have a scientific brain. But I will say that when I was listening to one of my test tracks, Dire Straits, You and Your Friend, I could have sworn that setting the DP to 4 and the FL to 3 gave me the best sound. Now here's the funny thing about that. If I was in a court of law in front of a judge under oath, I could not explain why that sounded better. So that's just to say that there are a lot of options in here. If you know how to manipulate those kind of filters and use them to your advantage, go ahead. They're in here. For me, most of the time, I'm going to set it at 1 and at 1 and let her rip. Some of the other test tracks I used were Private Investigations by Dire Straits. I love that track. There's a part toward the end of that track. You'll hear some footsteps, and then you'll hear Mark Knopfler's guitar sound like a cat screeching. And then, in the distance, just at about 11 o'clock in the soundstage, you'll hear a glass bottle break on the pavement. It's way, way in the background. I heard it. It's here. Also, I used Muddy Waters Folk Singer, an amazing album. If you're wanting to audition the air in the space, the sound between the sound, the air of the recording studio, the air of the room, I heard it. It's here. That's a great record to use. Led Zeppelin, When the Levee Breaks. I thought I'd get a little rock in there, a little harder rock. Man, those snare drum hits sounded great, and the cymbals were great. It's right on the edge. It's right on the cusp of being a little crispy, especially at high volume. And again, I don't know where this ends and the amp begins when it comes to that. But if you keep your levels at a reasonable volume, I think you're going to do very well with this little makeshift system that I put together. Then I found this really cool track. It's called Zulu Voodoo. I saw it on a Reddit or something. And I tell you what, it's like an amusement park for your system. If you want to get into some kind of African beat, techno, with just crazy 3D sound and depth and space and all that. I'd never heard this track before. This DAC and this amp handled it very well and generated a lot of excitement between the two speakers and actually beyond. So I recommend that track for you. I think you'll have fun with it. So when it comes to performance here, great separation. Super impressed with the separation. Super impressed with the center image. The clarity of the sound. The detail in voices that I was able to hear. I listen to a lot of artists like Dylan and Springsteen and Knopfler who don't have classically great voices, like American Idol type of voices. They don't have that. But what they do have is like this raspy character that I love. And with this DAC, I was getting all of that texture, all that vocal texture from those artists. Listening to like Bob Dylan's I Contain Multitudes. Great track, great vocal. It's the older Dylan. He's a little raspier. He's a little grumpier. I was getting all that texture, all that detail in the voice, and I love that. We all have different musical styles we enjoy. I enjoy what I enjoy. You enjoy what you enjoy. But I got a lot of benefits using this. Again, I don't know how you pick one DAC out of 29. I guess it's just trial and error. This is a great value, $199, $49. Is it as good as the Weem amp, which is an all-in-one solution with a streamer? That's for you to decide. Is it as good as the AL200, which I reviewed, which is a DAC amp? Well, you would still have to add a streamer. So you're within $50 either direction of the Weem amp. It's up to you whether you want separate components or how you want to build your system. So Fit Lifestyle, who's this stuff for? The DAC? Well, it's pretty much for everyone. A lot of great features, a good value, good look, and why not? This is a little more specialized. I don't know anybody that's so short on space that they would need a 4-inch by 4-inch amplifier. But if a short signal path is what you're looking for, you found it here with the DA1. Garages, bedrooms, offices, maybe some kind of soundbar replacement, vacation home, rocket ship, I don't know. Use it where you can. I think what's important here is that I'm learning that SMSL is a very good brand. For FunFi, you're buying into a good brand. SMSL, all of the products that I've listened to so far have been very good, and especially when you consider the price points that they come in at. Thanks for being here in the United States of analog.
And the cheap audio, man.
We'll see you next time. Oh, you know what? I forgot that line that I had about how picking DACs is like picking wallpaper. You ever try to pick out wallpaper?